Hey guys, it's Dave again, back here at Dave's Dimension, back again for another video. Yes, and this time you guys are not going to see my face, and there's good reason why. Of course, as you've seen, if you've no stranger to our channel, you've known that I've mentioned about my health. Well, I've changed a few things. I'm losing some weight, but I'm still 6 foot tall. Those who are new to the channel, just a quick history. About a year ago, I was 465 pounds. I lost weight the hard way, the long way around, as I like to say. And back on September 1st, I got down to 419 and I had surgery. As of today, I am at 388 pounds. That's a far cry. About 6 years ago, I was around 495, 5 pounds shy of 500. So, but I'm 6 foot tall, so no matter how much weight I lose, I'm always going to be a big guy. And if you're a ghost head, if you're a Ghostbuster, a fan of Ghostbusters, you know that it's not always easy to suit up, especially if you're a big guy, okay? So this video is kind of a dedication to the big guys out there, just to show how I suit up, how I've been suiting up for the past year, and some of the ways that, you know, not all of us can afford $2,000 Proton packs, or some of us can't fit into those Nomex flight suits. So these are some of my tips and tricks as far as being able to suit up and get out there and bust and bring some smiles to everyone out there. So we're going to start things off with, this is my storage case, okay? This is a 50-gallon storage case I got at Home Depot. I'm sure Lowe's, Kohl's, and a whole bunch of others have some variations. But I went with this one because actually a gentleman in the UK was selling his gear. He fell on hard times. And this is actually the same size container that he used for a full-size pack. Now, I don't have a full-size pack at the moment. I have, well, a couple spare packs. If you've seen the videos, you've seen my packs. So this case, this is a rolling case. It has an extendable handle that you can see right there, guys, okay? We got some nice metal clamps for locking it in, and it does have a lock that's built in. Now, these little clamps, they do have enough room to put a padlock on each one, so you can do that, okay? Now, this was a Husky 50-gallon container. Sorry about that, guys. My camera stand's being a little funny. What I did was, I'm a big fan of caution tape, of hazard tape, so I kind of went crazy with this to give it its own little flair. Pretty awesome, at least in my eyes it is. But hey, this is my container. You design yours however you like. I know some people who did some, they would tape this area up and just did this as red. You can do however you like. So we're going to start off. I am opening it up. Now, I apologize if some of this is dark. We're going to start off with, this comes with a nice little removable tray. Now, what do I have in this tray? I have my elbow pads. And yes, these are the GB Fans elbow pads. You can also get these on Amazon. Apparently AJ from gbfans.com has also selling these on Amazon. So you can get them with the Amazon Prime shipping, get them nice and quick. I like these. These are nice and fun. I mean, if you're a Ghostbuster, you gotta have the elbow pads. Not that we necessarily fall down and bust our butts, but if you ever need to, you're on the ready. This, I mean, what Ghostbuster is a Ghostbuster without Tobin's Spirit Guide? Now, this is actually one I got from a loot crate years ago. Maybe about 3 or 4 years ago. I held on to it. I do want to get a hardbound one. No, this was actually Nerd Block. This was not Loot Crate, so I apologize. But this is a full paperback version. You can actually get these paperbacks, again, on Amazon.com. No, this video is not sponsored by Amazon, but a lot of my gear I get through Amazon. You also got to have your military flashlight. I got this again on Amazon, and yes, this does have the lenses, so if I wanted to do different colors, different spectrums, I can do that. Now, I'm still trying to work on how to connect this onto my Alice frame strap, but for now, I have it in my case in case I need it. I also have a Spirit goggles that I actually got the sponge face kit on here. Now, it was a little bit give and take. Some of my tools weren't the greatest, but for looks, this has a nice faded weather look here. I know there's those people who nitpick and say, oh, there's not metal underneath here. Why are you weathering it? Well, that's just the look I want. That's my little look. I had fun with it. I love it. Now, you might notice I went with the little dowel, little cog here. This cog I actually got at Spirit Halloween. You can buy a whole bag of various gears and cogs. I used a bunch of them for a steampunk project, a steampunk Doctor Who cosplay that I did. And I had some extra ones, so I took one of them, weathered it, and with a little bit of a Gorilla Glue, it's on there nice. Now, I also like to I have a vintage, kind of a 1980s label maker. And I like to put my labels, I like to do a red label because that's old, looks old school, looks 1980s. I like to throw it right on here, okay? So I got my name on here, which is also good because if you're out and about with other Ghostbusters, or maybe you're at a con, maybe your gear gets mixed up, you got your name on it, there's no way someone's going to accidentally take it. They're going to see it right there. So that's what I do. Now, I do have the regular type gloves, but I usually wear those on my belt. I go with these when I'm at a con, or just about any time I'm out and about. I like these. This gives kind of an updated look, but also it lets me have my fingers here. With the Mad Scientist chemical gloves, sometimes it's kind of hard to grip and do things. With this, I mean, my fingers are out. I could still slip my glove over if I need to. But for these, I kind of like these because, one, you got some extra padding here. I actually got these on eBay, and these are fully adjustable. You actually have two straps, one here and one that comes right around your wrist. These are nice for the warmer weather. I mean, you have this here, so like if you're bouncing into things, it gives you some protection on your fingers, guys. I like these personally. That's just my look. It's your cosplay. It's your uniform. You do what you like. So I have a full pair of these. Next, speaking of the gloves, here are my Mad Scientist gloves. Please excuse the mess. I actually accidentally got some silver paint on these. I was thinking of replacing them, but it gives some wear and tear. I mean, you got to figure the guys have been busting for years. They're going to get stuff spilled and stained on gloves. This one has a little bit more, so that's kind of why I want to replace them. Tell me what you guys think. Should I leave them all scuffed up and messed up like they are, or should I replace them? I'm sure I could probably take some paint thinner, some other chemicals, maybe some acetone, and that'll probably come right off. I might actually do that. So the next is, well, depending on the uniform, you're going to go with GB1 hose. And what I did with this was I actually did Velcro, like kind of like a large 3M strip with some epoxy onto the, I don't know what you'll call this, a rubber grommet, I guess. I actually got this on Etsy, and I got this little military style, more of a modern military style hook. I got this on Amazon. They actually sell a couple of these together in one set. So you can lay your belt inside here. It's got Velcro, and then you have a snap for some extra locking in. This can come right out. So that's my GB1 hose. And if I ever do a GB2 costume, I actually have the white hose too. This is the first one I actually have. I kind of have to fix this a little bit. Now, some people will use epoxy, and I actually was using some E6000, which is also known as a liquid stitch. It worked pretty good for a while, but as you can see, it kind of comes off again. So I'm going to try some epoxy the next time around on this. But I mean, unless you're wearing a uniform that's the GB2 name tag, you're not really going to need a clear hose. I had just done this until I could get the yellow hose, and I have the yellow hose now. Now, these are just some extra tags I have from a Back to the Future cosplay I did. Now, for those who are big GB fans, real Ghostbuster cartoon fans, I actually got this from the KLS Ghostbusters. They have their own page on Facebook, and they also have their own eBay. Not under KLS, it's under a different name. This is the grenade from Real Ghostbusters. It runs off a 9-volt battery that they actually included with it, which was pretty awesome of them. Now, if you ever need to change the battery, this twists and opens up, and you can just change the battery out. So, I mean, the sound's awesome on there. They have, I mean, both sides, both top and bottom lights. You got the changing light right there. And they included theirs with a holster here, as you can see. I actually put a metal hook on here so I can put it right on my belt. I don't typically wear this because, well, it's one of my pride and joys. But it comes with a nice little holder once you get it lined up. You have this little collar around here. It actually looks like a cat collar, but it does the trick, guys. That's one of my favorites. And of course, I always carry some extra pins in here. Got the Spangler Memorial pin. GBfans.com has these at a very low price, so anytime I order anything from GBfans.com, I actually grab a couple of these as well, since they have them in stock. I don't resell them. I keep them as gifts. I'll keep them for my uniform or in case I lose them. Or I've even given one or two out to a few friends who needed them. Now, I don't keep the stock pin caps. These keep them nice and tight. On the stock ones that you get, sometimes when you're wearing them, you know, your arm and other fabric, they're hitting them, and these can pull off and then you lose a pin. These lock in, they keep them on nice and tight. So you always want to be good with that. Now, when I'm out in my GB1 suit, I actually have a Ecto-1 license plate. I got this from GB Fans as well, same type of pins. And I got this on eBay. It is a Radio Shack. It's not 100% screen accurate, yes I know. But this is a functional sound detector, noise detector. Got your microphone right here. So I have that here. Now, I don't typically wear this. I've had it a few times because it just has this strap, and this is a very light material. I am thinking of trying to figure a way on how I can hook this on my gear. But that's my little tray right there, guys, with all my gear. Now, we have the big stuff. Now, what do I mean by the big stuff, guys? This is actually a trap without wheels. This is an original spirit trap that I modified. Now, this is just paint here. I got this on Etsy. Got these from the local hardware store. I wanted to do a GB2 style trap because I like the silver on silver. I know the rods are not perfectly aligned because this was a spirit trap. I took them off and I couldn't get them back on. They have a little wear and tear on them. I'm going to touch up the paint a little bit at some point. But usually on my spirit pack, I put a V-hook on the side of the power cell. So this kind of has a GB a real Ghostbusters look where they have the trap right on the pack. That's why there's no wheels here. Actually, there's no wheels for another reason. But I have a metal V-hook here. And what I did was, you can go to a dollar store like Dollar General, Family Dollar, buy the dog leashes and cut them up, which is what I did. And I put some Velcro on here. And what I did was, the local franchise that I'm a part of, I took one of our pins, I grinded down the middle part, put a little Velcro here. So when I am out and about, I'm going to show you guys. Bear with me here. Sorry about that. Keep hitting the camera, guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That way when I'm out and about, you can see the logo right there. Nice front and center. Now what I did was, I did take a few tricks of the trade, and then now this is just metal. It doesn't move. This style does not move. But of course, this past summer, Doug K, aka Spongeface McGee, came up with a kit where he actually has where there's a potentiometer that moves. I had that on another trap, and I did put a real transistor on here. And of course I have the hose connector. Now, the hose connector, you know, there's no electronics going to it. I have a fake pedal that I connect onto here. Now these labels, if you notice my labels are a little worn, those are from Moby Signs, found on Etsy. You can hit him up. His labels, he does clean, brand new labels. He also does weathered labels, okay? I highly recommend you hit him up. So that's my trap. Well, actually, if you guys can see, I have a couple traps here. Now, this is a foam pedal. No electronics on here. But this is what I usually hook to that trap I just showed you guys. It has the Foster connectors. This one's been a little beat up. I actually let a friend of mine borrow this so he can take measurements, because he's actually making a fully functional one. Does fantastic work. He just wanted to use this for measurements. I like this for the look, and it's lightweight. That's just my stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my functional trap. Now this is the one that I did like 90%, 95% of Spongeface's cosmetic kit. You can see he's got a little reflective plate that screws right on here. These screws are perfect size. Again, I like the GB2 look here with the silver. I also did his wheels. He does a 3D print of an axle with some screws here that he 3D prints as well. With some bearings, ball bearings like you would see on roller skates or skateboards. Exactly like they do in the movie. Now this V-hook that you see here, this is actually part of a KLS, a trap holder that I'll show you guys in a little bit. But here's the other side. The screws just look amazing. You grind down the original ones, you screw those in. Comes with the transistor. Again, everything looks proper. It comes with this extra 3D printed piece with the arrow, and this dial does move because there's a potentiometer on the inside, guys. These labels were again from Moby Signs, and it just looks fantastic. He also, Doug K also included a little lens and a cover, so this looks proper. On the back, again, he included a metal, looks metal, it's aluminum, and all these labels are, all this text right here is 3D, it's right on there, it's edged in there, and all these are movable. These dowels are fully movable, guys. So it gives it a more functional look. Now on the back side, this is just... Now, his kit does not include this. This, again, I got on Etsy. A little bit of Gorilla Glue, some epoxy, and there you go. It looks fantastic. Okay. And, I mean, the wheel kit, I mean, if you have the means to get the wheel kit, I highly recommend it. All you do is you're taking off your Spirit or your Walmart trap wheels, and you're drilling in 1, 2, 3, 4. This goes right in there. Allen wrench, screw them in. And these fit perfectly in the original holes, guys. Perfect. Now, I love this trap for a couple reasons. I did the extension on here. I took out the original pedal. Yes, I got a long hose here. I did that because, well, if you're at a convention or maybe you're out at a event you're doing with your crew, you want to be able to give it some slack. And I got this this pedal on Amazon. Yes, I know, I love shopping at Amazon. This is actually gray with an orange cap here. I took everything apart, took the labels off. The labels came off nicely by themselves, and I was able to reapply them, believe it or not, without any extra adhesive, so that was kind of cool. Now, when you run the wire through, and I actually used speaker wire to run it through from the trap all the way through the hose to here. And this is a nice heavy-duty lap pedal. There's no electricity needed for this. You have 2 wires that go in, one that connects to the first post and one to the last one. So when you're actually hitting the pedal, it's connecting the circuits, and it'll open and it'll close. Now this, it isn't too heavy, but it's got a little weight to it. So what I did was, got a little inexpensive carabiner from the dollar store, bought a whole bunch, took a little key ring, put it right on there, because there's a hole on there. Automatic hole. I did not have to drill anything. It's right there. You guys can see it. So I can actually hook this onto the hole on the side of my Alice frame. You know that round little spot right on the side where the bolts go? You can actually connect this right on there. So with this hanging from the Alice frame, it reduces any kind of weighing down that you might have if you connect this to your belt waist or your belt that you have on your waist. So I painted this black, painted this red, and if you notice, it's already weathered. What I did was I just took a little knife and did some scraping here because I wanted to give it some wear and tear and make it look like it's kind of been through the paces. And let me tell you, this thing works fantastic. You don't have to baby this. I mean, the franchise I'm part of, we actually did some drive-ins. We did a drive-in this summer a couple times, and I did this as a test, and kids were stomping the hell out of this. They were brutal to this, and this thing works perfect. And I definitely think I did great going with a nice heavy duty. This is what you would see maybe as a safety pedal in a workshop or machine shop of some kind. No, like I said, no electricity to it. And if I want, there are holes here. So if I want to put maybe a wider plate to put some additional transistors or additional tubing or parts on it to give it more of a GB1 kind of a look, I can definitely do that. That is an option. I just did a flat black on here. I had some red, gave it a few sprays. Now, on some of these labels, another thing is if you don't want to take these labels off, these electronic labels, these warning labels, the circuit label on here, you could always take some painter's tape. And there are nice grooves around here that, I mean, you put some tape over it, it's very noticeable, so you can cut it on the outside and leave the painter's tape on the label to protect it if that's what you want to do, okay? This is actually plastic, but I did some silver on here and some gold spray right here and just fed the loom in. It unscrews so you can actually take it apart if you want. So those are my traps. Now, here is my belt. Now, I tried using the standard measuring tape, but a friend of mine had recommended going with the Husky tape measure holder. Works perfect if you have a Spirit wands or a Spirit PKE. I'm all about the Spirit PKEs. Now, this one, I did the weathering, but then I also did a clear coat on it. Okay. This one's been through the paces a little bit. Been a little beat up. Again, I did the labeling PKE meter with my first initial and last name on here. I love it. Now, if you're a big guy, your best option is going to be going like, this is a Rothko belt, okay? This is a Rothko belt I have. Got this on Amazon, pretty cheap. Now, another thing I do is I will use these belt extenders. Now, I just removed this, or a belt extender. And these belt extenders you can get like for like $6 or $7 on eBay, real cheap. Now, if you notice, the connector's black. So what I did was I just did flat black, a couple runs on the extender itself, so it went perfect with my black belt. Okay, now you can readjust it. Now I am finally at the point where I could get away with removing the extender itself. This is not a real lifeguard. A friend of mine had actually, he was printing one up for himself and for his kid. And he, I told him, I said, wow, that looks fantastic. I really wish I could get one. He says, well, tell you what, give me your address. I'm going to send one to you. So this is just 3D printed. He did a massive job on this. Now, the weathering was me. That's just me. I love to weather things. I just did a light little going across with a black Sharpie. Some of it's a little much here and here. But this is, usually you see one solid piece. Well, what he did was he actually put a black piece underneath the inside. So it really does look, from a distance, you really can't tell. And I love this belt clip he put on here. It's just insane. If you have a friend who does 3D printing, they're a great resource. I don't have the means for a 3D printer nor the space. So that's, it's great to have friends who can help you out from time to time. Now, this is the KLS trap holster I mentioned. If you notice, it's got the 3D printed connector right here. Now, also, what they did was, they did the bigger holes here, guys. So if you have a thicker belt, like a Rothko belt, with the thick plastic buckle like this, you can feed it right through without any issues. I can't speak enough about it. It's awesome. And also, you got the snap here, so you can put the trap right on there. And it holds it on there just perfect. You just have to make sure you have the matching 3D printed clip on there. And everything's 3D printed nowadays, but they did an awesome job on this, guys. I can't say enough about some of the work. Now, also on my belts, again, I use those military hooks that they Velcro and snap right on here. And then again, these are like this right here. You can get at a hardware store. The carabiner. This is the hook I would use for my wands when I'm stowing my neutrino wand on my belt. Now, I have a Spirit radio, guys. I just don't have the money to get an original Motorola. Now, I did paint this, and I did some mods. Well, not too many mods, but just more of a paint application, if you will. It is missing the clip here. But again, I got the labels through Moby Signs on Etsy. Now, if you do take this apart, you have your screws here. And what I did was, so that I wouldn't ruin the speaker, was I unscrewed and lifted the speaker from its original housing, and I just put painter's tape on the inside, guys. And then I put the speaker and everything back in. I taped this all the way around. And you can actually take this this fake antenna out while you're painting. And I just covered the whole thing with tape and did the top, did the back. Used a hammered Rust-Oleum, and this turned out really great. This one I did about a year ago. I might do another one because I've learned some better tricks since then. And the holster I use, this is actually from Amazon. You can rig this onto your Alice frame straps if you want the video game look, or you can just keep it right on your holster. There's different types of Velcro here that you can really just latch this right onto. You can put your shoulder strap right through. It's got a top and a bottom here. This is nice elastic. Little bungee right there. Fits perfectly. Locks right in. Like I always say, guys, it's your gear. You do what you want with it. Okay, so that's my belt. And yes, on the back of the belt, I can always connect my hose if I want to. Now, as far as the rest of everything here, okay, you see I have some microfiber cloths. I like to get a bunch of these from Harbor Freight, and I wrap them around my wands, because if you're moving your storage bins around, they're going to get bounced around. They're going to get bashed up a little bit. So I always get a bunch of these. I mean, they're disposable, and plus, hey, if someone spills something, you got some towels to soak it up with. Okay. If you've seen my videos before, you know this is my wand. Winona. If you're a fan of Farscape, you know the reference. This was a Carnivorous Creations wand. And it has GB Fans light kit in it. Now, I painted this, but I did silver underneath. And as you can see, there's already been some weathering, some chipping. So it's getting a natural weathering. Before doing this, I was always that guy who did the weathering beforehand, but not now. I like to keep things new and let it weather on its own. And I couldn't be happier with this. I love this. And coming soon to a theater near you, I am going to be doing a full-size pack soon. And I'm looking forward to that. And I will be doing some unboxing videos and showing more about that. Now, yes, my hose is a bit long, but I'm a tall guy. Now, as always, if you're new to being a ghost head, being a Ghostbuster, guitar stands. You can't go wrong with a nice guitar stand. Now, of course, this one, yes, I went with the hazard tape again on it. That's just my preference. These are perfect for whether you have a full-size pack or a spirit pack. Now, as you can see, I have my pack right here. Let's see if I can tilt this so you guys can see it. Now, again, these labels I have on here are from Moby Signs. This is not a paid advertisement by Moby Signs. I just happen to love his labels. Now, I did put some real metal clipper pieces in here. Okay. Now, as you can see, this is the other part of the V-hook I told you about. What I did was I got some nice long screws, and I got some spacers, and I put it right on there. So there is space there. And just to show you guys, hangs on there nice. Got a little bit of space. And for us bigger guys, let's be honest, the spirit packs, they do look kind of small on us. So when I went and I added that on, it adds a little bit more size. It really does, guys. I mean, I'm not saying you have to do that, but it definitely adds a little bit more width to us, okay? Now, on here, it's a little beat up. Yes, I actually have electrical tape holding on there. It's a long story. Now, I replaced all the hoses on my pack here. And I got the real Legris in brass clipper pieces here. I replaced all the Spirit ones on here. You can even see right there. These are the real ones. I drilled right in. I used a little bit of hot glue and some epoxy in a few spots. Sorry about that, guys. So I replaced, like I said, I replaced every single one of these. Took a little bit of drilling, some patience, but I got it in there. Now, as you can see, this pack is heavily weathered. I wanted to go with a worn look. Made it look, I really wanted this to look like it's been through hell and back. I did some dry brushing with some brown ember on here. A lot of silver argent. And on the back of my pack, I have some, again, some more Moby sign labels. But I actually went with a Talon Cell power pack to use on the outside. This thing will run for a full week, and it has a nice USB port. So if I need to charge my cell phone, I can do that on the go, guys. So that is my pack. Let me move this out the way, guys. So, what's left in here? Well, I have my boots. Now, I don't have the vintage boots because they're kind of hard to get in a size 15 wide to a 16. So, I have these. They're pretty comfortable. They're good for the go. Side zipper, because sometimes some of us big guys, we have a hard time getting our feet into our boots. As a former diabetic, I can say that. These allow for quick and easy put on and take off. And then I have my uniforms in here, guys. I have 2 Lapco khaki mechanic suits. Now, unfortunately, I'm still of a size that I can't fit into your atypical off-the-rack flight suit. So I have 2 of the Lapco suits with just the mechanic coveralls. I have my name tag on both of them. I have a 7X, which was comfortable at one point, but now it's extremely baggy. And then I have the 6X here. Now, right next to it, I have a nice gray suit that I got through a company called Suits USA Inc. They actually have their own website, suitsusainc.com. This, yes, in case you're confused, this is a flight suit, but they do customs, or custom one-offs. What they do is you send them your measurements, and literally there's a form with your measurements for your legs, your inseam, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your groin, everything. And they will make a suit for you. Now, this actually cost me $180. I know, that's pretty expensive. But this was my first suit ever. It's got the GB2 name tag of me. This one is actually getting kind of roomy and big on me now. But what's great about them, this has all of the right zippers and pockets. It has the Velcro straps around the waist, around the midsection. I love this suit. This is my favorite because I always love the darker suits. Got the franchise pins on here, of course. And I do have an Ecto 2 or Ecto 1A pin on here. Just to show you guys. Got my Ghost Core pin, my Ecto 1A, my Spangler, and my Do-Ray Egon pin. That I got on Etsy, guys, which you can get pretty quick and easy. But yeah, I have my suits at the bottom, my boots, my pack, and then after the pack and wand are in here, all my traps, and then I have my tray of gear. Now, I myself cannot afford all the crazy stuff that is out there. Like, you know, obviously at some point I would like to get a proper or vintage screen accurate belt. Eventually, if I get down to the size, I think I'm going to do that. Um, but as far as like if you go to events all the time or you do a con, I mean, this is pretty good. I got this. This was on sale, I think, for it was like between 65 and 70. But here's the kicker. When I picked it up, I pre-ordered it. Went to go pick it up. I get it home. It was missing the tray, guys. So I called Home Depot, and they were awesome. They said, "Well, you know what? Okay, um, tell you what, you know, bring your receipts, and we will get you the tray." So I go there. I'm waiting. Those long waits, you know, everything with what's going on with 2020, understandable. So I get there and they said, "Well, you were waiting so long, and we apologize that we didn't check to make sure that tray was in there." So they gave me the tray, and they gave me another, I think 10 or 15% off, which was awesome. So I got this for even less. But I mean, if you do cons, if you do a con, if you do a lot of events, you want something that's going to protect your gear. You know, maybe, you know, you're working and right as soon as you get off your shift, you're trying to meet your franchise, you're trying to meet up with your group, but you know, you need to change. You got all your gear right here, guys. This holds everything. I mean, I have tons of room in here. I have room for traps and my spear pack. Once I get a full size pack, because I'm actually getting a Benekent, which just reached the States, so I should be getting that maybe another week or two. We'll see what happens. But with that, that'll fit in here perfectly, and I'll still have room in here, guys. I mean, if you're a big guy, you kind of have to make cut corners. Originally, for my belt, well, I always use a Rothko belt, but on my belt for the military clips, instead of using those, I was actually buying dog leashes, cutting them up using a little 3M strip, and making my own belt accessories out of that. That is something you can do if you're in a pinch. You know, buy a dollar store dog leash, cut it up into pieces, buy some little 3M strips, connect them, you know, maybe a little bit of glue in a carabiner or two, and there you go. You have it in a pinch. Now the Lapcos, you have to keep an eye on them. One of these I scored for $47 on Amazon. So keep checking Amazon. You can check other sites like Walmart and a few others for the Lapco suits. These are the supposed fire retardant ones. They're very lightweight. The only drawback is the collars tend to roll up and curl, as you can see right here. But I mean, they work. They work in a pinch. You know, I mean, for those of us who can't fit into the flight suits, it's a viable option, guys. Now, as far as the name tags and putting on patches, if you're not great at sewing, or you try and iron it on but it doesn't work that well, there's this stuff called E6000. Basically, it's liquid stitch. It's basically craft glue for fabrics. You can apply it to plastics or apply it to fabric, and it will adhere. You let it sit. If you do it, I recommend you put something heavy to allow pressure. Let it sit for about a day, and it's on there. I mean, it's fantastic. Now, you may have to reapply a little bit of it if some of the corners come out a little bit. But hey, it works great. You can get it at Joann's Fabrics, Michael's, any kind of craft stores. You can get it. You can just ask them, "Oh, I'm looking for E6000 or liquid stitch." It works fantastic, guys. So that's pretty much my kind of breakdown of being a big guy and what my gear looks like. I mean, obviously, it's not fantastic. I don't have Matty collectors. I don't have a $2,000 pack. I have my Spirit, which, I mean, I love the pack. So, you guys, those are my thoughts. And like I said, like 3M Velcros, this is pretty much what I use for a lot of stuff. That's actually, this is what I use to hold my battery pack on the back of my pack. I have a MDF board on the back of my pack as my motherboard, And this is the type of stuff I use to just keep my battery pack on there. Nothing else. You can get that at Joann's as well. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns, please leave some comments down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what any suggestions you have for some of your gear. Maybe you know something that I don't. Please pass it along, and I'll share it in an upcoming video or in the comment sections below. As always, this has been a hell of a year, a crazy year for a lot of us. All I can say is keep your heads up, keep smiling, keep busting, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side, guys. Stay frosty, stay safe.